Welcome to our channel, I Read That Buzz. Don't forget to subscribe.
Working on framing in, we need a post right here in the back with a nice 90 to it that will help support that back corner along with the back wall. And we're going to need a cross section in the middle here that will support the valve. And we're going to need one here at the top that will support the shower head coming out of it. So I'm going to work on that framing now. We've measured from the bottom up. We got about 68 inches to the top. And then we'll put those supporting pieces in there. And just like how this is with the cross bracing, and this is a nice solid corner right here for the structure of the shower, as well as ties into this wall. And yeah, we'll do that right now. All right, so we have the corner frame in place and it's nice and sturdy. It's even kind of nestled in a little pocket here of foam, and it's going to have a cross brace that accommodates the faucet, and then a top piece that where the nozzle is going to come out for the shower. So the next part that we have to figure out, because the roof of the bus slopes down at the back edge of the shower where the back wall sits, we only have to about 72 inches. The shower itself is like 74. So that would put it like up through the roof. So we need to cut the back wall of the shower down, and then we need to do some test fits. And then we need to cut the side wall of the shower at this angle and the curve as well. Now we don't have to get too crazy with it because we're going to put a furring strip and then the roof, the shiplap material. So you won't see that ragged edge, and it's gonna be, you know, the shiplap is gonna be ending about right here. I'm 6'2". That puts it like in the middle of my forehead. So I'm not too worried about water intrusion. That shiplap edge should cover the back wall of the shower, and we should be able to, even though it's not going to be tight and it's not going to be the same curve as the outside, we're going to have this wall here, and so we're basically going to have a faux curve to this that mates with the wall, and we'll put a trim piece across, and that will keep our strength at the back of the wall. So we'll put some pieces at the back here, and that will accommodate the back strength. So I have to figure out where that's going to end up, but we need to trim the back wall. So pardon my mess. So what I have here is I have this measured to 72 inches. I have a piece of orange tape, and I'm going to cut this with my angle grinder, and hot plastic is going to shoot everywhere. But in my experience cutting a rigid plastic like this, I want to avoid using a saw because sometimes you might form a crack. So the plastic is just something I'll have to deal with, but I don't have to worry about possibly creating a crack in the back wall and having to replace it. So here we go. In addition to cutting the back wall, one of the things that we'll need to do is trim the side walls as well to match the curve. Now we don't have to go too crazy with it because this part up here in the flange can tuck into the foam, but right at about here is like kind of where the roof comes into play, the metal part. So as you can see, I'm trimming up here and kind of feathering it down to about here, which is 71 3/4. You have to take into account the pan for the height. So the pan is about 3 inches, puts us at about 75 inches or so of total height all the way in that back corner. As you can tell, I have some more trimming to do on that back wall because this side is still a little far forward, and that's because of these structure beams right near. I need to just trim more of a notch out so I can push this back wall back more. And yeah, we have a shower, kind of. All right, everybody, just a end of the weekend summary of what's going on. As you can see, it's pretty dark in here. End of the day. Just finished vacuuming everything up. Every time I'm in here, I seem to make a mess. Sawdust, plastic, this, that. Gotta clean. We had some family visit this weekend. So even though we had a 3-day, I didn't do too much. Mostly spent time with family and kind of snuck out to work on the bus. But I guess you could say we did some pretty big things. One of them literally is big. We got our refrigerator, hauled that in through the window. So that's pretty cool. Samsung 33-inch wide, 17.5 cubic foot, dual climate refrigerator. So that's pretty cool. And the other thing that we did is I built this little wall right here, which will have some access down in here to run vents, wiring, etc. Whatever we need. I'll probably run the ducting for the floor diesel heater through here, all kinds of good stuff. So that'll be really nice to have, just a little way to access the inside of the bus without having to tear a wall out. Again, we have our pocket doors. We did have some people say, oh, you didn't secure the, let me put the light over here. You didn't secure the pocket door. I'd say they're pretty secure. We just don't show every little bits and piece that we do. Otherwise we'd never get anything done. Basically what I did is I drilled a hole all the way through and put a bolt, stainless steel bolt through it, and did a nylock nut on the inside. These are like you can kind of see they're like a metal channel. So I'm not squeezing on the wood, I'm squeezing on the metal and basically squeezing through the frame of the pocket door. And it's pretty rigid. So there's that. Also, swapped out our vanity. We had a 24-inch vanity. We jumped it up to a 30. Again, Andy, another YouTuber, makes a good point. I don't know about living on the bus. We're not quite there yet, but definitely playing with the bus proves to be pretty fruitful. You know, I was going off of code and whatnot as far as room for the toilet against the walls, and we kind of went a little large and we didn't really need that much room for it. When we went shopping for other RVs and some pretty high-end coaches, we noticed that the toilet is a lot tighter than even what we have here. So we're going to be pretty good. Again, you have plenty of room out in front of it for your feet to stretch out. And the vanity, we went a little bigger. Also, that allowed us to step up to some drawers. We stepped up a little bit in quality and price as well. The other big thing, the shower walls are in. Now, they're not super attached. I still have to deal with that post right there. I got to trim it a little bit because this wall is a little proud right now. It needs to be pushed back in. Also, the back wall seems to be just a little flimsy for my taste. So I think what I'm going to do is spray it with spray foam and put a piece of plywood on it and let it fill in the crevices and also adhere to the plywood to give it some rigidity. Side panels, again, they're not, I only have one screw in, but side panels seem to be okay. Also on this side, we're going to have the faucet and we're going to have the shower head. This side seems to be okay. Again, there's a lot of little doohickeys here to give it some rigidity. But as far as the back panel, I don't know why. It just seems kind of floppy. So we'll strengthen that up a little bit. Moving along, I think we'll start working on the bunks. I can start going to a metal supply and getting metal to make the upper frame. And of course, then we have our bedroom in the back that's kind of just getting pushed out. So we have most of our electrical. We've got wiring, we've got the 50 amp box, we've got the surge protector that'll be built in. We also got some PEX down there. So we have PEX and we have all of our fittings and crimper and all that stuff for the plumbing side of it. The other thing is I measured out the bottom storage unit, so I'm going to start pricing out tanks and what that all entails as far as getting the fittings where we might want them, etc. So we'll start making some forward progress on getting some tanks in here. In a clip before, we have the drain in, and the drain goes through the smallest opening there probably is in the bus, and it'll shoot across over to about here. So you can see this post right here. So this is the bay where the tanks will be in. So we have a short run from that drain. We have a short run from this drain to right here, and then we'll have the sink right here. So all of our plumbing is basically within 6 feet. So that'll be pretty nice. We won't have a lot of plumbing. Also, I've been doing a lot of research on the heaters and boondocking and just talking with people and researching, watching YouTube videos, etc. about boondocker. Some people made some pretty good points about keeping your plumbing runs short because, yeah, we'll probably have 100, maybe 150 gallons of fresh water, but you know, if you have a long run and a bunch of filters and this and that, by the time the heater sees enough flow to kick on, warm up, and then produce hot water, and then that hot water to get all the way to where the demand is, you know, I saw a gentleman, he had a RV, and he had just replaced his heater. And he did a test. It took almost 14 seconds to produce hot water at his sink and dumped almost a gallon of water wasted down the drain before he got hot water. So that definitely sparked some thoughts in my mind about keeping the runs short and tight and putting the heater as close to the shower, the sink, and the bathroom sink as possible. So again, this kind of all just goes back to planning, and some of this you kind of make up as you go. You know, sometimes it doesn't always work. The shower is a great example. You know, once we sourced the drain, you know, we had to space it off the wall. We had to move our shower forward about 2 inches or so. Now, looking back, we probably could have bumped the wall forward, would have lost 2 inches at the toilet. We would have lost 2 inches in the living area. So yeah, it's just, you kind of just learn as you go, I guess. At least that's what I'm doing. So anyways, that pretty much caps it for this week. Stay tuned next week. We're gonna hopefully finish up the shower. I need to do some research. I'm not a plumber, so I need to look at the faucet thing for the shower and the top spout, how that gets permanently mounted, routed. Do more research on PEX, make sure I got it down before I start crimping things. Because it's my understanding once I crimp them, they're pretty much done. There ain't no redos there. So yeah, stay tuned for us next weekend. Hope you all, if you had it off, had a great President's Day weekend, and hopefully you're all staying warm. A lot of you are experiencing some pretty cold temperatures, and definitely makes me think about the insulation in the bus and the insulation in your guys' buses. I see some pretty amazing builds that are doing some spray foam that, you know, I wish I would have done, but that's a whole nother can of worms, and looking forward to see some of the rest of you's progress. So anyways, that's it for this weekend. Have a great day.
Thanks for watching RV That Bus. You guys have made tons of progress. I'll come check you out later. This is the lady right here that came up with our name of our bus channel.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No, I thought it was like...
It was a joke. She said, Mom, what am I going to name it? The one that Wendy had was so good and is already taken. And I said, well, I don't know. I'm not good at this kind of thing. What are you doing? Well, you're turning a bus into an RV. RV That Bus. I had no idea that was...
There you go.
And the rest is history. There you go. Now you all know.